Welcome to Animation Works, the easy-to-use path-based animation program for your personal computer. With Animation Works, you can create a variety of animations for education, business, video, special effects, or just plain fun. This video provides a brief look at some of the features and capabilities of Animation Works. Animation Works consists of 3 environments: the background editor, where you create backgrounds for your movie, the cell editor, where you create actors, and the movie editor, where you combine the backgrounds with the actors to create movies. Let's begin with the movie editor, where we can look at the key concepts in Animation Works: actors, paths, and frames. The actor is the central unit in Animation Works. Like the flip books of old, an actor is a sequence of images, each slightly different, called cells. When seen in rapid succession, the cells give the illusion of motion. Actors are created in the cell editor. Actors follow paths in your movie. A path tells an actor where to be and what to do in each frame of the movie. Paths are created using the path tools in the movie editor. Animation Works allows you to create a variety of paths, including line paths, arc paths, polygonal paths, and even gravitational paths. Finally, a movie consists of frames. A frame is exactly like an image in a strip of motion picture film. Each frame has a background on top of which are imposed actors. When you play your movie, Animation Works flips through these frames rapidly, creating the illusion of motion. You vary the timing of your movie by varying the rate at which the frames are shown. You can also have multiple actors and attach events to each frame. Events such as color cycling, background changes, wipes, speed changes, and even sound. In this section, we will create a movie and learn how to use paths and events. The heart of Animation Works is the movie editor. The movie editor is where you combine actors with backgrounds, sounds, and special effects to create movies. Let's take a look at the movie editor screen. Across the top, we have the menus that help you work with frames, events, and paths. Over on the left is the Path Tool palette. These tools allow you to create and manipulate the paths in your movie. Here on the right is the Actor window. The Actor window allows you to keep track of all the actors in your movie. You can preview an actor's motion by clicking on the play button in the window. You may also load an actor from disk or remove the shown actor from your movie by clicking on the disk or the trash can buttons. You select a previously loaded actor by using the pop-up menu in the window. Finally, the player or transport controls are used to navigate through the frames of your movie. Okay, let's create a movie. We will create a movie of the bird shown in the actor window flying across the screen. Let's select a path tool to create the bird's path. Animation Works gives us many different types of paths. Let's select the straight line path. Notice that the actor is attached to our pointer. Let's position the actor at the starting point of its path. You can use the cursor keys on the keyboard to scroll off screen. This allows the actor to appear from off stage. We now click down the mouse button and drag out a line across the screen. This line indicates the path of the bird. At the end position, we release the mouse button. This brings up the Adjust Path dialog. This dialog allows us to specify the number of frames along the bird's path. The more frames you specify, the longer it will take the bird to fly across. Notice that Animation Works automatically distributes the frames along the path. This is called path tweening. Let's select 40 frames and click OK. Animation Works automatically creates the required frames and positions the bird along its path in each frame. We can now preview the bird's motion by clicking on the play button in the transport controls. The transport controls work like a VCR. Using the transport controls, we can rewind to the beginning of the movie, advance directly to the end, step a frame at a time backwards or forwards, and also play in reverse. The slider in the transport controls can also be used to go directly to a desired frame. If we want to view our movie without the borders, we just click on the full screen button and then on play. Let's click the mouse to go back to the movie editor. In addition to creating new paths, Animation Works also allows you to edit and manipulate existing paths. We can grab an actor and move its entire path to any new position on the screen. We can also modify an actor's path on a frame-by-frame basis. Notice that there are selection points, called nodes, along the length of the path. These nodes represent the position of the actor in successive frames. We can click on any node and drag it to a different position on the screen. Once you've done this, you'll notice that the motion of the actor changes accordingly. You can undo changes by using Undo from the menu. Let's now add a background to our movie. A background change is an event. Events may be attached to any frame in your movie. Events include such things as background changes, sounds, and color cycling. We'll position our movie to frame 1 and select background from the event menu. Notice that we get 3 choices. We can select a picked background, a solid color background, or a gradient background. Let's select a picked. This brings up a file dialog allowing us to select the picked file from disk. Let's select the file Beach. The background is shown in the frame. Let's hit play. The background stays in effect until the end of the movie or until another background appears. We have just created a simple movie of a bird flying over a background. We have seen how easy it is to use the path tools and how to add events to frames in our movie. Let's look at some of the more advanced features of Animation Works. We will learn how to load actors, modify a path, and use hierarchical and gravitational paths. First, let's add another actor to our movie. We'll load this actor from disk by clicking on the disk icon in the actor window. This brings up a file dialog. We can select the actor we need, a plane. Animation Works allows you to map the actor's palette onto another palette or to stay with the actor's original palette. A palette affects the colors that make up the actors. Let's map the actor to our current palette. The actor is now shown in the actor window. All of the windows can be hidden or moved freely anywhere on the screen. We would like the plane to make its entrance about halfway through the movie. Let's use the slider bar to go to frame 15. We can now use a path tool to define the motion of the plane. As before, we will use the line tool and the cursor keys to scroll off the right of the stage. We can hold down the Shift key to constrain our line to a true horizontal. This time, we will select 30 frames and let's have the plane accelerate for the first 5. Click OK, and we are done. Let's hit play to see what this looks like. Note that the bird disappears behind the plane. We would like the bird to stay in front of the plane. This can be easily accomplished by first double-clicking on the bird's path to select it and then clicking the Path to Front tool. Okay, now let's have the plane drop a bomb. We'll first load the bomb actor from disk as before. Since bombs fall under the influence of gravity, we will use the gravity path to define the bomb's motion. We select the gravity tool. Note that, as before, the actor is attached to our pointer. We can click and drag to define the starting position and initial direction of the bomb's motion. When we release the mouse button, the gravity dialog appears, allowing us to specify a variety of parameters that control the motion. Let's set the initial speed to 0. We can vary the force of gravity and increase or decrease the amount of air resistance. Finally, we'll set the number of frames to 10. Let's see what this looks like. Note that the bomb now accelerates downwards in accordance with the laws of gravity. However, in real life, we know that the bomb would not fall in a straight line, but would be affected by the forward motion of the plane. We can simulate this by linking the motion of the bomb to that of the plane to create hierarchical motion. To do this, we first select the path of the bomb. Then choose Magnetize from the Path menu. Note that the pointer changes to a magnet. We can then click on the plane. This will magnetize or link the motion of the bomb to that of the plane. Finally, let's put the bomb behind the plane by selecting the bomb's path. Let's see what this looks like now. As you can see, the bomb now has a forward motion due to the plane. This is called hierarchical motion. Hierarchical motion is a very important feature of animation works. It allows you to create complex motions quickly and easily. As we have seen, there are many different types of paths that can be created in animation works. Let's use another type of path that Animation Works offers, the Registered Motion tool. The Registered Motion tool allows us to position the actor in the current frame in perfect registration with the previous frame. We first load the actor we want from disk. From the Goodies menu, let's select the History feature. This feature displays a faint image of the actor as it appears in the previous frames. Let's select the Registration tool. As before, the actor is attached to our pointer. We now create the actor's path by merely positioning the actor in the current frame and clicking. Carefully aligning each stage of the action, in this case, the footsteps of the actor. Each time we click, the actor is placed at the specified point in the current frame and the movie advances to the next frame. The cell of the actor also advances to the next cell in its sequence. This results in a more natural motion. We don't have to do this all the way across the screen. After we have placed the actor through one complete cycle, we can have the computer repeat the pattern automatically. To do this, we select Extend from the Path menu and click to End for the number of frames. Let's preview what this looks like. That's just a few of the more advanced features of Animation Works. We have seen how to load actors, modify a path, and use hierarchical and gravitational paths. Let's now look at wipes. Wipes are used when you change backgrounds to introduce the new background in more dramatic ways. Animation Works allows you to create your own wipes and to create thousands of custom effects. Let's go to the end of the movie. We want to change to a new background. Let's select a gradient background. Animation Works allows us to create our own custom gradient backgrounds. We select the color range for the gradient and the direction of the gradient. Note that this small proxy box allows us to see what our gradient will look like. We can give the gradient a name and click OK when done. Animation Works automatically creates the gradient and places it in the current frame. Let's see what this looks like. You'll note that the gradient only appears for a brief instant. This is because we only have one frame with the gradient. Let's manually add some more frames to our movie. We'll go to the end of the movie and select Add Frames from the Frame menu. We can specify the number of frames to add and whether we want the frames added before or after the current frame. Click OK, and more frames are added to the movie. Let's preview this. Now the background stays up longer. You'll also note that the entire background appears at once. This is what's called a straight cut. We can have the background appear in a more dramatic fashion using wipes. Let's go to the frame with the background change, and in this frame we will add a wipe event from the Event menu. This brings up a dialog showing all the wipes currently in the movie. As you can see, we only have the straight cut. Let's create a new wipe. The Create Wipe dialog gives you a list of basic wipes on the left and a proxy area on the right. We can click on any of these basic wipes and see what it will look like on the right. Now, starting with any basic wipe, we can customize it in a variety of ways. Let's select the slash wipe. We can change the number of frames over which the wipe occurs. The fewer the number of frames, the faster the wipe will occur. We will choose 5. We can also change the segment size. For example, we can change the slash into a curtain by changing the X segment to 10%. Or we can change it to a horizontal wipe by leaving the X at 100 and changing the Y to 10%. Or we can change both to 10% and get an entirely different effect. Once we are satisfied, we can give the wipe a name and click OK to confirm. The newly created wipe now appears in our wipe dialog. We can select it and it gets applied to the movie. Let's see what this looks like. As you can see, wipes add a whole new dimension to your movie. Finally, let's look at another powerful feature of Animation Works, the Storyboard. The Storyboard allows us to get an overview of our movie. The Storyboard window shows us small proxy images of specific frames of the animation. These frames can be determined in the Conditions section of the dialog. For example, if we want the storyboard to show every frame where a new path begins and where a wipe or matte effect occurs, we can select the appropriate buttons and click on Apply. The storyboard may be used as a navigational tool. Clicking on a specific frame in the storyboard will automatically take us to that frame. The storyboard may also be output for use as a handout or leave behind. This concludes our look at the movie editor. We have just touched on some of the key features and capabilities of the movie editor. The movie editor gives you numerous other capabilities, including sound, color effects, and animated mats for exciting movie within movie effects. We will now take a quick look at the cell editor. The cell editor is where you create your actors. From the movie editor, we select Cell Editor from the Goodies menu. As we have seen before, an actor is a sequence of images, each slightly different from the previous, that give the illusion of motion. Each of these images is called a cell. The cell editor gives us the tools necessary to create actors. The cell editor consists of a full set of paint tools, which you'll probably recognize from other programs, a set of transport controls, and a main working window. Let's start by making a simple animated actor. Select New from the File menu and name the new actor. We'll begin by choosing a foreground color and creating a shape on the screen. Once this is done, we'll add another cell to this actor by using the Add Cell command. For best results, we want this cell to be just a little bit different from the previous one. To do this, it would be useful to be able to see the previous cell. In order to do this, we will use the Show Previous Cell command. This invokes the onion skin capability of Animation Works. The previous cell appears dimmed out, and we can draw a new one on top of it. By repeating this process, we can gradually build up a complicated actor. Once we've created an actor, we can preview its motion. Any cell of the actor can be edited at this time. In addition to the Paint and Edit tools, there are auto creation tools that allow us to create multi-cell actors quickly and easily. For example, using these tools, we can easily create a rotating object by having Animation Works figure out the in-between frames. Let's create another new actor. We'll create some text using the Text tool. We now have a one-celled actor. We can use the size cells command to create multiple cells from this single one. We will create 10 cells in all. We want to start with 1% of the original size and end with 100%. Let's see what this does. As we can see, Animation Works is creating additional cells automatically by sizing the one cell we created earlier. It's worth noting that this does not apply just to text, but to any image we create. Let's preview the motion of this actor. As you can see, we have just created a zooming title. Let's now make it spiral. We can do this by using the Rotate Cells command. We want to rotate all 10 cells, starting at 0 degrees and ending at -360 degrees. Animation Works now rotates each cell in our actor by successive amounts from 0 to 360 degrees. Let's see what this looks like. As you can see, the size and rotate commands allow you to create new cells from existing ones quickly and easily. Another important concept in animation is that of registration or alignment. To achieve the best results, we must ensure that each cell of our actor is correctly aligned or registered with the previous. We do this by using the Set Registration Point and Register Cells commands under the Cell menu. Altering the registration point can produce dramatic changes in our animation. Currently, our actor is rotating about its center. Let's select Set Registration Point from the Cells menu. Now, we will go through each frame and set the registration point to the upper left-hand corner of the text on top of the letter G. This is done by advancing frame by frame and clicking with the registration tool on the corner of the shape. We must realign all the cells such that the registration point of each cell is lined up with the other cells. We do this by selecting Register Cells. You'll note that the object now rotates about the upper left-hand corner of the shape. Once the actor has been created, we can add it to any of our movies. This is just a brief look at some of the features and capabilities of Animation Works, the fun, easy, and affordable way to create animations on your personal computer.